we'll do that. So we have Hacking Meal Planning. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. And so here we are, we'll get started. And so my name's Andrea Nicolai, and I work for the University of Florida Extension in Polk County. And I'm on the right side there, pictured. And then with me, I have Kimberly. Would you like to introduce yourself, Kimberly?
Yes, my name is Kimberly Bragg Arbitrout, and I am the FCS agent in Hillsborough County doing health and nutrition.
I can't hear her.
You can't hear me.
I can't hear her.
That's weird.
Everybody hears you. Hear your microphone. Oh. Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Andrea, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm Kimberly, and I work for Hillsborough County Extension. I'm the FCS agent there doing health and nutrition.
All right, so I go back a slide instead. So then here we have the chat box right here. If you guys aren't familiar with Zoom, right at the bottom, you can kind of hover over the bottom of the screen and your controls should show up. And right now I have most of you muted, but if you want to unmute yourself, if you have questions at the end, or if you have comments, that will be fine. And then on the, and then we have also on, you can kind of, there's 3 little dots on the right, and if you would like to go to that, that would be a great spot to put questions. So you can click on the more, and then the chat box should come up. There's a chat option, and so you'll be able to type in questions or comments that you have. Okay, so I see you guys can hear us. Good deal. All right.
We're going to get started. So what is meal planning? Well, it's pretty much, oh, I skipped something. I'm sorry. The short evaluation. Yes, Andrea, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, so I just, Kimberly, can you see the slides okay?
I can. I was looking at the wrong slide.
Okay. I was jumping all over. So thank you guys. We're just definitely Friday. So just please complete the short evaluation that's following the this webinar then. We really appreciate your feedback. So on the sound, whatever you would like, we'll be welcome to comments. So our plan today is we have this 2-part series, right? So they're short presentations, and you know, we can talk about this all day. But today we're going to talk about meal planning 101. So what it is and why, planning for the week, then staples maybe you should have on hand, ideas and resources, and then the next steps. And then next week then, so next week we're going shopping. So we'll give you some tips on that, prepping ideas, and getting creative with leftovers, and then some backup meal solutions. Always nice to have. So our overall goal, I think today, is just to get you guys in the kitchen, make life a little bit fun and easier, and hopefully weave in some healthy habits on the way and maybe save you some money too. Okay, so that's our goal. And so Kimberly, take it away.
So what is meal planning? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just planning your meals for the week using techniques to make healthier options available. We're going to do that by using, go ahead, the next slide. We're going to do this by considering the My Plate, the USDA My Plate, making meals that correlate with what we need and how much we need of it. Next slide. So the first step in meal planning is why do we meal plan? Why is it important? Well, first of all, it's going to save you time, especially if you're a busy person, you work and you go to school, or you have children and a husband that's hungry when you get home. It'll save you some time if you just go ahead and meal plan ahead of time. It saves you money because you're not running to the grocery store all the time. You're just going there that one time, getting everything you need for the week or for how many days you're in a meal plan, and you'll save some money not going every single day. And then the food waste. Sometimes we buy things and we never figure out what we're going to do with it. We just bought it because it was on sale, or we thought we were going to use it, and it just sits there because we didn't have a plan for it. Next slide.
So I was just going to say a couple of things on the food waste then. So just doing some research about this, you know, because it can be a really big money saver if you can waste less food. So the average American, we throw away about 19% of our vegetables and about 14% of the fruit we buy. So I don't know if this has happened to you. So I love fruits and vegetables. I know like my family loves them too. But sometimes you put them in the produce store because you believe, you know, that will keep them better longer. But they end up, when you open the produce drawer, then it's kind of like you find that thing like on the bottom of the produce drawer that kind of doesn't look the same anymore. And so just trying to remember those things. And, you know, one tip that I read a long time ago, but it really helps, is to take the things out of the produce drawer that you want to eat and put them on the shelves right where you see them. And so I know maybe, you know, like maybe romaine lettuce would keep better in the produce drawer, but if you're not going to eat it in the produce drawer, it would be way better to put it on that shelf, because then you're going to use it before it goes bad anyway, right? And so that would help save you money. And then so planning and saving, planning would also help do that. So that's like kind of what we're showing you today, is trying to help you make a plan so that you can, you know, use what you have on hand and just, you know, not buy a bunch of extra stuff. And I was reading too, you know, like we in America, we're impulse shoppers, which the grocery stores know this, you know, that's why they put fun stuff on the end caps. You're like, what is that? But just really trying to stick with what your plan is. And so not only, you know, it'll save you money, keep you within your budget, and you'll have extra. Just another note too, you know, on average overall, we throw out 25% of what we buy. So that's like us going to the store, right? You know, like I would pick up 4 boxes of Cheerios, and then on the way to my car, I throw one in the trash can. You know, that would be the same. And so just, you know, you don't want to do that really. So, or maybe you do, but then you can at least decide if you want to do that. And so that's just a tip that we have for you. It really can save you money. So then the first step then is, like Kimberly was talking about, you know, inventory your pantry. So take note of what you already have. So if you already have, you know, 4 boxes of Cheerios, you know, they all made it home, then maybe you don't need to buy any more, even, you know, when you go to the store the next time. And inventory your refrigerator and the freezer. And I would say the refrigerator, right, would be one of the most important ones, because that's the perishable goods. So look in there and see what needs to be used up. And that is the first step in meal planning. So figure out first for your coming days what you need to eat first, and then figure out meals to make them work, okay? So Kimberly has some ideas for you on that too.
Well, I don't know if your pantry looks like that, because mine sure doesn't. But I think that if you can get it a little organized, it's definitely going to help you inventory it a little bit easier. But if you can't eye it and know what you have in there, and you don't have a good memory like I don't, you might want to use some apps. There's apps that are available out there that you can use that will help you inventory your refrigerator, your freezer, and your pantry. So having these apps available to you on your phone when you go grocery shopping, you'll already know that you have the 4 boxes of Cheerios. You don't need to buy another one. Or you might know that you have, you know, 20 cans of corn that you never ate, things like that. So using some apps, if you're technology savvy, this is a great way to do it. I'm a kind of a hands-on pencil paper kind of person. So I tend to want to write everything down and kind of keep it on the refrigerator or keep it near the pantry, so I can know exactly what I have in there, and kind of keep a running tab. And if I run out of a staple, something that I know I use all the time, I make sure I, you know, put that on a list to go grocery shopping. So these are just a few of the apps I looked up for you that you can look at, and some of them have also meal ideas. So not only do they, you know, tell you what's in your refrigerator, but what can I do with those things that are in my refrigerator right now? So that's very helpful. Next slide. So I think planning for the week is really important. Now it's a challenge. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that it's easy all the time, but if you can make it fun, it's definitely gonna help. So what you need to do is use up everything that's in there. You don't want to waste. So you look for store flyers for sales of things that you can use to plan. So if you want to make, you know, a meatless Monday, what do you already have in the refrigerator, or what do you already have in your pantry? And then what do I still need to buy? So you can look for those flyers and the store coupons to save you a little money there. Decide if you want a theme. You know, if you want a meatless Monday, Taco Tuesday. I know my kids love things like this. It seems to have a good effect on them eating whatever I cook, especially if I make it a little more fun. Always plan for family favorites. If you know you make something really well and your family loves it, well, continue to make it. But also try to throw in something a little bit extra, a little different too. So I think it keeps them kind of excited about the food that you're having, and it also keeps you on a plan. That makes it a little easy for you when you already know how to make something, and then just throw maybe one different meal in there that you're not really sure about or how they're going to like it for the week. Next slide. So everyone has in their house, have everybody contribute. When you have kids contribute and tell you what they like, they tend to eat it. They enjoy it, especially if they're picky eaters. It's always nice to add something new to the menu. Like I just said, you always want to, keep them guessing. Don't want to serve the same thing. You don't want to have pasta, lasagna every single night. Plan to use those leftovers. You might want to buy a rotisserie chicken or even make a rotisserie chicken, but how can I use it when the leftovers? You can make a chicken pot pie. You can use it for lunch and make some chicken salad. So try to think of things when you do buy something and you think you're going to have leftovers. What can I do with those? Incorporate that into your meal planning for the week. That will definitely help you with the food waste, and you'll make sure you get rid of everything that you've bought at the same time. Just change it up a little bit, being a little creative. So leftover night, did you want to do this, Andrea?
You can, it was the same thing, so you can go over it.
All right. So like I said, making that rotisserie chicken and then having the leftovers, making it a chicken salad or a chicken pot pie. Roast beef, you can do the same thing with. If you make a nice roast beef, you can make a roast beef sandwich the next day, or you can put it in a beef stroganoff. So making the same food, just changing it up a little bit will save you a lot of money and a lot of food waste. So make sure that you're kind of, when you do your food planning, you find that big meal that you're going to have, and then how am I going to incorporate that meal later? That's a good option for you to plan. All right, next slide.
And so I just have a couple budget-friendly tips. I'm like your budget person today, but just really some ideas then to save you money while you are planning. She mentioned, definitely we're checking the refrigerator, we're checking the store flyers, because that'll help get you a plan for what you would like to cook that week, and then using what's on that flyer to kind of help you base, should I have a chicken week or should I have a, bean week? And so some ideas for budget-friendly meal tips then would be to use meat substitutes or things like beans, because they can really stretch your meat, which would be very expensive, and beans are not. And they have a lot of protein and they're very good for your heart, right? Where beans have 0 fat and meat usually has a lot more. And it doesn't have to though, but just include meals that stretch expensive items. So stews, casseroles, stir-fry dishes, you can always have, the piece of chicken with, some sweet potatoes on the side and some broccoli or something like that. But sometimes maybe you could kind of make that into a casserole and end up using one chicken breast or, just less chicken, I guess, the idea, and then stretching it with rice or with pasta or with vegetables even, to make it a bigger meal for more people. And cutting down on those expensive ready-to-eat salty and sweet snacks. We'll talk about that a little bit just next week on, which aisles, just some tips on those. You might think on that, but we have some other ones. But limit pre-made meals and fast food. So obviously the more you do, the better, money-wise, like the more you cut it yourself and less it's pre-made. But sometimes you need that time saver. So if you have that in your week, factor that in, buy a reusable water bottle, fill it during the week. And then, instead of buying water, so great tip there, and avoiding excess soda, energy drinks and things like that. And staples that to have on hand then, we just wanted to kind of go through there's tons of lists out there on different things, but just especially with, like we're in a hurricane season. And if you're not from this area, maybe you're in tornado season, but just some staples to have on hand then. Just you want to kind of keep these in your pantry and keep them on hand, not only because of things like hurricanes, so the hurricane ones would be on the left, the shelf stable, but just having these foods on hand will help give you a variety of meals if you don't have something in your fridge already. It's like you can mix and match these. And so that sometimes you have an intention to plan all the way through the week, Like Christine was saying in the chat, you know, she does really well at the beginning, but then kind of peters off, and maybe that's when she can use her staple meals. And so these are just some there. And we were just going to highlight too that just all forms work. So, you know, fresh, frozen, and canned fruits and vegetables, there's not one that's better than the other on this. You know, each has advantages and disadvantages. You know, frozen sometimes tastes different than fresh, but like, so take frozen broccoli compared to fresh, right? It tastes different. You know, sometimes you only like, you know, the broccoli raw that way, but then the advantages of it frozen would be that it's already cut and prepared for you. All you have to do is, you know, pop it in a stir fry. So that could be an advantage. Or, you know, green beans definitely have a different texture in the can, but, you know, they're shelf stable. They will keep a long time. So just those are advantages and disadvantages. And then canned meats, same thing, you know, canned chicken can work really well. So yeah, just having them ready to go. And then making them count lastly. So just what we were talking about on that, mix and match meal strategies, like, you know, cheese, using it multiple ways, eggs, you can use them tons of ways too, frozen vegetables, and then rice and pasta. So Kimberly has just a couple of things to add here.
Yeah, staples were designed around popular foods. So you have to know what's popular in your house in order for you to be able to make sure you're preparing the right or buying the right staples, because staples for you might look different than staples for me. So like she said, there's a million lists out there. You just kind of look at a list that might work for you and your family, and you pick and choose things that you and your family enjoy and something that you can use often. So a lot of times staples will revolve around things with dairy or milk, eggs, cheese, things like that. Definitely most popular because most people enjoy them. But again, if you're a family that don't, then obviously that particular items won't work for you as a staple. Make sure you have, you know, proteins on hand. Like Andrea said, the beans are definitely a great way to get some protein. It's a cheaper option. And then having some canned chicken or canned salmon on hand is a great quick pantry meal. So if you don't want to spend all that money for fresh salmon and you want to go ahead and get that can to prepare simple meals, that's definitely a nice staple to have in your pantry. So yogurts in your freezer, things like that, rice, pastas, whatever works in your family, that's really important. You don't go based on a list that nobody likes. So make sure you're using what's most popular for you and your family. Next slide.
Call.
So this is one of the recipes that I found. It's an easy recipe using staples. We're going to go into a little more detail, like Andrea said, next week, but I really like this one. This has been a staple since I was a child. My mom would always make tuna macaroni salad. She made it for every party. She made it for every pool party we did. And it was our home. So it's a quick meal. You can use the canned chicken or the canned tuna, some pasta, and then throw it over leftover vegetables you have in your refrigerator, and pretty much everything goes. So it's a nice way to just kind of throw something together that's a healthy choice, and adding some vegetables in it really helps make it a healthier choice. So I really like this recipe. So if you haven't tried it, definitely try it. Next slide. I also found this one. It just sounded good to me. I have never tried it, but it's something, again, that you can use with chicken breasts that you might have already in the freezer or refrigerator, or you can also use canned chicken as well. So everything's really flexible when it comes to pantry shopping. Canned foods can go a long way and make lots of really great meals if you just kind of look into them a little differently, make them work for whatever you're using or whatever you're doing. So another cool recipe to try. Next slide.
And then I just have one too. It's just easy, cheesy chicken and broccoli. And I like this one a lot, and I end up making it a lot just for different people, but it's only one pan. And so that's really nice for me. But you just take, you know, canned chicken broth that's in your pantry and some instant brown rice. So that would be a brown rice that's not already cooked, but it's kind of like the minute one, but it is faster cooking. And so you just add that right in with the pan, and you lay a bag of frozen broccoli over it. You throw in a can of chicken, and then you add some cheese, and it just kind of cooks in the pan, and the rice gets done, and then you serve it, and people always seem to like it. So this is a really good one for me using staples. And so then we just wanted to say, you know, stay tuned for more staple recipes next week. I asked a bunch of people, what they go to for staples, and I bet you guys have some really good ideas. So, you'll have to email me if you have pictures of your staples or just things that you use. I'll try to remember, maybe we can incorporate them next week. And then just, I know we're wrapping up here, but just a couple of site ideas. These are some great recipe idea sites that I like anyway. The My Plate Kitchen is a really good one. Diabetes Food Hub, if you've ever heard of that one, just Google it and it'll pull up great recipes. Even if you're not diabetic, they're like delicious and good for you. The My Plate Kitchen, that one has dollar signs to indicate how expensive it is, things like that. And then they also have easy, simple ingredients. Trending right now is sweet potato pancakes with balsamic maple mushrooms. And so I just posted it on my Facebook page at Polk FCS. So that would be, you can go there if you'd like to see that. Chop Chop recipes, great family ones. And Del Monte recipes are really good too, just because they often use the canned vegetables and things like that. But really, they have some really good recipes on there, and one dish ones and things like that. So you can always modify it to make it healthier if it's not. So there's an idea. So then just wrapping up then, the last thing then, you have your recipes, you've gone to your pantry, you know what you need to use up, and then make a list. Okay, so this is a big thing, but just if you can try to make some sort of list to take to the store with you for next week, then you'll be able to replace your staples, keep it in mind what you already have, and you're ready to head to the store then. So just write the things down that are not, the staples that have gotten used up and what you need to finish off those meals, leftovers that are in your fridge, and then you're good to go. So just please, if you wouldn't mind completing this evaluation so we can do better even next week then, and we really appreciate your feedback. And then Kimberly has just a quick note on here.
Yeah, these are my upcoming classes. And speaking of the pantry shopping, what's in your kitchen will be a 4-series pantry shopping strategy. A lot of fun looking in your pantry and making some meals. It's 30-minute lunch and learn sessions for me to give you even more ideas of what you could actually cook with the stuff you already have. So it'll be a fun little series. And then I'll also be helping you make dinner one night. So if you would like to join me on August 13th at 6 o'clock, we'll make a meal together using an Instapot if you have one, or if you're thinking about getting one, you still might want to look at how easy it is to use. And we're going to go ahead and make a nice dinner for you that night. So join me for both of those sessions, and we're going to have a lot of fun. On the bottom is the register link, or you go to IFAS Hillsborough County upcoming events. You'll find the registration for these. So I look forward to seeing you on those classes.
And then I just want to put in a plug. So I hope you guys can join us next week too. Put up with us again. And yes, you should, if you register for this one, you should be able to get into the next one too. So you could join either or both. And then I also have a couple coming up, cooking under pressure and growing and cooking, highlighting herbs, and I'm going to be throwing in some more. So check Polk FCS Eventbrite, and then you should be able to find the links to what I have going on. I look like I'm going to be posting some more soon, so if you don't mind checking up on me every once in a while. And so if anybody has any questions then, we'd love to, I'll look in the chat box. And then this is how you contact us. And we really appreciate you coming today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And Andrea, I can't see the chat. So if you want, take down the share, and I might be able to help you with some questions if there's any you want me to help you with.
Okay. Okay, so it just looks like, yeah, we just have a great comment on Chinese rice. She said, mentioned that you can use leftover white rice then and meats, and then you can just add add meat and vegetables and mix it all up. So if you have leftover white rice or any kind of rice, that would be a great thing. Yeah, just adding like a protein and a vegetable can be a great meal, just to, getting those 3 in there, like the My Plate, right?
Right.
So, and then we just have some other comments like, okay. And do you know the apps that you mentioned, are there any that charge with those, Kimberly?
Some of them are free, and then some of them have, extended versions where they'll charge for them, but some of them are free as well. So they have to just pick which one that they think they might be interested in and pick the free one, try it out.
Okay, do you have a note on which one or any of them that were free?
No, actually, I don't. Let me look back at them really quick. I have my slides up.
Oh, yeah, understood. Maybe we
Yeah,
could,
I can
Kimberly,
look 'em up.
if you have one,
Yeah,
I could put it out with the Zoom recording if you want.
Yeah, I'll look them up again because I can't remember. I'd done this a long time ago, but I think the pantry checker was one of the free ones, and my refrigerator food recipes I think was one of the free ones. But I'll double check to make sure.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys a lot. So thank you, and we look forward to having you next week, hopefully. So bye, everybody.
All right, thank you.